Hey, Matt White streaming. Here we go.
You fucking moved, and as soon as you moved, you just needed to keep the wheel straight, you fucking donut. You made a twitch. As soon as you twitched, it went all wrong.
I know.
Did you say Matt Wright streaming?
You what?
Did you just say Matt Wright is streaming?
Matt White, the ARL guy, yeah.
Oh, right. No, I'm waiting on Matt's stream to come up for the Patreon.
Oh god, that was funny. At least you got Gary with you in the is what Gary in the GT3s or GT4s?
Oh, yes. Go on, monkey.
He's not tested it yet, has he?
Has he? Fuck, he's not. No, he only wants. He's going to chuck the setup on, and that's it tonight.
At least he's got a setup to chuck on it this time.
He's got qualifying to get it down dialed in.
Oh, look at Clouden. Fucking hell. Clouden's up your chuff, Daniel.
Yeah, but he's a sweat, he is. He's a sweaty ball bag. Love how he's put his name as Cloud9.
That's right, yes. Yeah.
You say Hypertex Racing tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
So we're missing him.
Clouden will be in the fucking sim bin now as well.
There is a
We've got
driver.
all the GT2s now, haven't we?
A driver did drop out of GT3, Mike.
I don't know.
Yeah, a driver dropped out
but then
of
the new,
GT3.
yeah, but then
so
one
there
of,
should be 29 drivers, 10 GT4s, 10 GT2s.
So we're missing Gary and Hypertech. That will make 28. Who's the one 28. That we're missing?
So how many? Let me go on to timetable and let's have a look how many we got.
All the GT2s are here.
So 10 GT2s, yeah. There's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
2
6,
GT4s,
7,
which is
8. Gary and
GT3 is John Gooday. So who's the other GT4? So Matt Wright, Nuke Waste, Sam Greaves, Matt White,
Traitor,
Ian Best, Matthew Hicks, Gary Leach, Colin, Amir, and Taylor. I can't see Nuke Waste.
Yeah, he's there.
He was in the session earlier.
Matt Wright.
So
Matt Wright
Colin. Oh, Matt Wright. Okay.
Matt Wright.
He's the one that I need to test the stream for Patreon as well. Are we all jumping in the Discord chat in a bit?
Yeah, I can do.
Have a giggle.
Yeah. So, Clouden's fast. So you're fastest sector 1, Mike.
Go on, Mike. Monkey's fastest
middle sector. No, I am.
Oh, I thought Monkey would be.
Oh yeah, now he is after he got yeeted into the wall. And Clouden has 7 tenths on us in the final sector.
Mate, that's fucking unreal.
9. So where we gained a second on them in the middle, they then gained a second in the final.
Oh shit, Clouden's second. That one just noticed.
But you know, Dan, track position's key in that twisty section.
Yep, especially when you're pushing a GT4 around.
Just a me.
Mine's a mighty first sector, isn't it?
Shit.
Dan nearly put it in the next door's garage.
Listen to these, I've got a mighty first sector.
31.5.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do is...
How the fuck have I done that? Why can't I do that with the rest of the sectors?
Well, we know why the middle sector. I got the best fucking toe you could ever fucking ask.
So I can do this corner's okay. This one's okay. And I'm quite confident on this one. It's this one.
I'm not even watching you, so I don't even know what this one is.
You're
in the pits.
Oh no, you're on cold tires.
That was a terrible
You're
run.
down, aren't you?
But yeah, you take it similar to how I take it. So I think you must have just had a fucking mighty.
That's also the final. That's also starting into the middle sector.
Oh, Kieran's gone third now. You three are all 54 ones. I'm only a 10th off you in the last sector. 2 tenths, sorry, I'm a 10th off Kieran.
Oh shit. I went faster with a time that wasn't with a slipstream.
Don't shift up as early there.
Right, Matt Wright is now in.
Yeah, that is similar how I take it, so...
Yeah, he brought that straight down. Tablet and that comes straight downstairs.
That's hard to when to get on the back on the throttle there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll never forget the moment you had around that corner in the very first season we did. In the Lamborghini.
I'm a 10th down, but it's invalid. I ran wide at the, what's it called? Fast right-hander.
You seem to understeer a bit more into turn one.
Yeah. It's horrible. Fucking precision, that was.
Come on, monkey, where's your lap time?
Fuck's sake.
You're not going to get one out there. Fucking holy fuck.
Was that you, Joe, who's just come through into the pack of cars leaving the pits?
Nope.
Oh no, it's not you behind me. Nuke Waste it was. I came out the pits and I thought, I'll get out.
Don't touch
I'll
that
get
curb
out
there,
in
monkey.
time. Two GT4s come out
kidding
behind
me?
me as Nuke Waste come past.
Basically, monkey, don't touch any curb that's got a slight raise to it. The car hates it.
Yeah, I found that out.
That includes Dan's front bumper.
Yeah, watch that one.
That's definitely got a raise to it.
We'll have time I finish.
Whoa, take me out to dinner first.
Oh, I got Monkey Boy in front of me.
Oh, God.
Oh, hello.
Help him out down the straight, Joe.
No, don't, please, please. Brake, brake. Fuck's sake.
Jesus Christ.
What layer
you
to
press
Paul
the clutch
Ricard?
pedal
What
or
layer
something?
to Paul
Did you
Ricard are you
fucking
doing? Fuck, I know you just skipped turns 1, 2, and 3 near enough. You know when you're braking into turn 1, you know where
Yeah.
the curb stops and starts again.
Yeah.
You want to be braking where the curb just before the curb ends on the right hand side.
Time
Stream started.
for a nervous poo.
Well, you didn't get up till late, did you? So.
What?
Didn't exactly get up till late, though, did you?
No, I think I'll have to bed, so I've literally got best practice.
fall back asleep?
Now, when you didn't message me back, I don't think you should be going to type on the message out. So it's there. So if you looked on me, it's probably said type phrases about what I'm typing.
It just something you've seen it.
Yeah, I typed the message out and I wasn't sent it. So when I got back on you to see if you got the last way. Sent it out. Right, can everybody hear me okay at this distance, yeah?
Yes.
Right, sweet. Sweet. Don't need to turn my mic up anymore. Mr. Duffin, sir, Mr. White has bigged up your commentary, so no pressure. Fantastic.
Oh, Kieran, 53.9. Motherfucker.
Yeah, I can't get any better than a 55-1.
Come on, Joe, you can do it.
Fucking can you, specky bastard?
Michael Harris is up there in P5, Jesus. GT3s could have an interesting race with GT2s tonight. It could get spicy. And then there's Monkey Boy.
Don't worry about me, I'll be at the back spinning.
It's alright, Gary will be with you. Because he's not driven this yet neither.
Monkey and Gary are going to be the ones everyone catches into the final sector, and they're just doing what the rules say, stay on their line. And no fucker can get past them.
I can safely say, for the GT4 season that's upcoming, I have ruled out the Audi GT4. It's wank.
Have you?
Yeah. Don't know why, it just didn't feel nice.
It don't like curves, does it?
Don't like brakes. Don't want to stop. The Merc was brilliant.
Ahead of them.
Unmarked Veil, come on CBK. Not a clue who that is.
That's my mate. That's
Yeah,
the one I was telling you about earlier.
I gathered, dude. You're the only CBK I know. Come on, Monkey, this looks a good first sector. You can't balls this bit. Oh! I was going to say, you can't balls this bit up, it's a straight line.
Well, do you want to bet? I can turn left there if you want.
I remember we just raced Paul Ricard one week.
Monkey, watch this.
I remember, Mike, one week we just raced Paul Ricard on ACC. And we did, I commentated an F2 race that Dan and everybody were racing. And everybody forgot about the chicane on the Formula 1 game because they've got the chicane halfway down the back straight.
Oh, yeah.
Sooty, Dan, I think Fury also did it, just kind of went straight to.
They're like, don't tell him, don't tell him.
Where's my notepad? Who's had my notepad again? That's my freaking notepad. I'll get my notes up on here. Paul Ricard circuit map. I want racing circuits.info. No, not that one.
Bastard, it invalidated it.
Audi's
Fucking
first
second to last
win
corner and
at
all.
Le Mans.
Hi. Fucking hell, they come up quick. Fucking hell.
Hi.
Bye.
Oh, I didn't know that. Frank Bieler was one of the drivers in Audi's first win at Le Mans. Frank Bieler was a touring car champion in the 90s in the Audi Quattro. In the Super Tourer eras, where do you know James Thompson had that crash at Knock Kill Monkey?
No, I didn't. No. Who told you that?
Fucking Wikipedia, mate. You know my shit. Right, I'm jumping in the comms box to start the stream. Enjoy, have fun. I'm sure I will.
We will.
Don't laugh too much.
Where's the comms box? It's there. Night all.
Upstairs.
Couldn't find the fucking comms box party. Brilliant. Could you do me a favour, just turn that light off, please, baby? It's shining in my eyes. And I am a professional, most people. I'm not It's a good one. Shut up. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Simplay Motorsport here for the fun event 2 of this pre-season as we wait for the championship to start on the 4th, 5th and 6th of February. I'm your host, bringing you all the action tonight, as always, Matthew Duffin in the commentary box. Solo tonight as Dan Davis is out on the circuit, and our other few commentators are not here for tonight's event. But what an event we have. We are celebrating the fact that 2025 becomes 25 years since Audi won at Le Mans. So in that 25 years of that, in honour of Audi, we are driving the Audis around this Paul Ricard circuit, as we can see from our helicopter camera view. 3 classes of Audis, the white numbered Audis, or the GT2 class, as we can see of Mr. Dan Davis driving them from this current view. We'll then try and find a GT3 that is on the circuit. Here we go. Patrick Leisure, one of our drivers from last season, multiple race winner in the Pro Championship last season. He's in the GT3 version of the Audi. And then we've got Greaves down at the bottom. I believe that is Sam, our regular driver in the Pro-Am category down there in GT4. Just double check the name. It is Sam Greaves down the bottom end there. We are waiting for John Gidday and for that of Gary Leach to be in the lobby. A 29 car grid to take on this fantastic circuit, and we will get the opportunity to take a look through the cars and the drivers who are out here today. But why we are here is, like we said, the 25th year of Audi, 25 years since their first win at Le Mans. In June the 18th in the year 2000, in the winning number 8 car, the Audi R8, driven by Tom Christensen, Frank Bieler and Emmanuel Pirot, which is fantastic to see. Audi's first race was actually in 1999. They finished 3rd and 4th. The year 2000, they didn't only just win at Le Mans, they took a 2nd place, they took a 3rd place at Le Mans. Why was it a good year for Audi? Well, it was a revolutionary car with the R8. It was built with carbon fibre chassis and a safety cage. It made, the way endurance racing changed. The rear was designed by to be easily serviced, allowing the mechanics to change the entire rear end in less than 5 minutes. So really sort of, a year that meant that this car could really do something and look to be fantastic. Christensen, Bieler and Pirot went on to win the race again in 2001 and 2002. So they didn't only just win it this year, they won it, in the year 2000, they won it for 3 years in a row. And it's just a fantastic thing to see, making them also the only driver partnership to win Le Mans 3 years in a row. So what a fantastic feat for them in this one. Good evening to Jackson in the chat, who says Mr. Duffy and Mr. White is big job comp and no pressure. Mr. White, who is currently pole position, or currently the fastest man in the GT4 category, here he is. If you don't know, this guy runs a channel called ARL, an American-based league that race on a Sunday evening, I believe, or I race with them on a Sunday evening. They race on other evenings as well. Great league, American racing league, fantastic league to be a part of. This guy is a good guy. So a great night for him. And great to see him on the channel. A few of the Simplay lads have raced on their channel before and currently still do race on their channel. So great to see Matt White here on the circuit. This is going to be a bit confusing because Matt White leads from Matt Wright. So we're going to probably get them muddled up tonight. But let's see what we can do and what will happen here. No Hypertech. He is unable... Hypertech is unable to make tonight's race, so there will be no John Goody. As I'm just looking as well, looking at the chat, we've got Ben Bestie, Matt Wright, Matt Hicks, Mike Matthews and Dan Davis all in the Discord chat. If anybody wants to join them and be a part of that conversation over there. But great to see a few of the ARL boys come to support on their driver. We've got a Mark Vale who's saying come on CBK. That is for Fury, aka Joe Bates. He's come to cheer him on. And good evening to Benedict Varga. Loads of memories came just by seeing the Audis. And rightly so, obviously a guy who used to drive in the Audi back in the Pro Series many moons ago, and we can't wait to see Benedict Varga back out on circuit. But let's take a look. O'Reilly's in the pit lane, so let's start with this man, Mr. Dan Davis. 7 minutes left of the free practice session. 10 times a champion on Simplay Motorsport, one of the Simplay racing drivers. 10 times a champion, and is currently the defending pro champion out there on the grid tonight. Going to be an interesting race to see what Dan Davis can do while he's out there on the grid, and going to be interesting to see what Dan Davis can do in terms of this whole evening. Obviously, second place he was in the Nürburgring event that we had just before Christmas, in which was a fantastic multi-class race as well. Jamal Clouden is out on the circuit. He is currently third place, leader of the GT3s. Jamal Clouden, obviously runner-up 2 seasons ago, back in that Pro Championship, and was a runner-up as well. 2 third place as well, I do believe, in the GT4. So great to see Jamal Clouden back with us, and an interesting one to see him running Cloud 9 this afternoon. Patrick Elijah, as we said, multiple race winner in the GT3s last season. That was in a Ferrari 296. He steps into the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2 for this evening's race. Michael Harris as well in the GT3 cars. We've seen how good he can be in a Lexus and in a BMW. Twardok is in P8. It's great to see a new face at the Simplay Motorsport channel. He's currently down in 8th place with Joe Bates. Out on track in the GT2s is Twardok and Joe Bates. They're P8 and 9, and they're giving it some as well. Benjamin Rook, the Simplay racing driver, making the jump from BSP into Simplay racing with Braga. Saw him back at the Nürburgring event. Great to see him back today. Millington, the reason why we're not pressing on the people in the pits, we know that we can't see them properly, whereas ACC has this wonderful little glitch which doesn't always tell you if they're in the pit lane. Stephen Millington, Cam Racing. Obviously there's no teams tonight, it is just a free-for-all. Drivers just wanted their names on. Bettison is in the race with us tonight, and I believe Bettison is from the FBR channel, so great to see Beto back in with us tonight. As we said, Matt White out there, currently the fastest GT4 from Matt Wright. Then we've got E. Cullen, aka Diz. Sam Greaves is there with Amir, another new driver to the channel. Matthew Hicks is P24 with Nuke Waste in 25th. Andrew Taylor, and then Ian Best bringing out the rear. Meaning we are only missing Gary Leach. We are only missing Gary Leach, but he normally doesn't like to come in until the practice session ends and qualifying starts. I say he doesn't like to come in, he just never gets the chance to get in until that time. It's going to be a great evening. Great to see Fury's granddad in the chat as well. He says good luck everyone, and good evening to Chris. It's been a while since we've seen Chris in the chat. Great to see Chris back already. Looking forward to this one and getting ready to go on the channel tonight. It's going to be a fantastic night's worth of racing, that is to be sure as well. As we look forward to some fantastic multi-class action, as well as some fantastic racing. And the real interesting point for me is this little multi-class battle at the front, the GT2s, and we'll load the timetable up to show you the comparison here. If we look at these lap times, Mike Matthews currently the fastest in Sector 1, which is pretty surprising, a little bit anyway, because that's where the GT3s are just a little bit better in that first sector. They're better through the corners, more aerodynamic and a bit less power for the GT2s, whereas the GT3s, whereas the GT2s more power, less aerodynamic GT2, more aero, less power for the GT3. So you'd expect to see the GT3 better through Sector 1. Mike Matthews currently the fastest. It's close between the two there. Dan Davis then the quickest in that middle sector, which is pretty self-explanatory. It is that back straight that Jamal Clouden has recently just entered, and that is where the power kicks in for the Audi LMS GT2. Then it's Clouden who's quickest by nearly a second in that final sector, and that is really all down to, again, the fact that the GT3 car is better on its cornering ability and able to turn into the corners a lot easier. So what a chance to see tonight then, as we enter, like we said, this Paul Ricard circuit. No longer on the Formula 1 calendar. We don't see it much about anymore. But what we do see is this track being absolutely fantastic at the moment. And it doesn't make a return for this season's calendar. Let's not forget the calendar for the season got released on the Discord. I don't believe it got released actually to the general public at the moment. So what we'll do is let's get the calendar up for you now. There we go. There is the calendar then for the championship for next season. We kick off on the 4th of February for a evening race to start the season as well, around the fantastic Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. In the GT4 category, the GT4's making a return. Then we get to go to the 5th and 6th of Feb for Pro and Pro-Am into their seasons. We head to Spa a week later into Indianapolis, which will be an early morning race. So from the dark into the early morning. Possible snow, possible rain, possible sunshine, we don't know yet at Indianapolis. Bathurst for round 4, Silverstone marks round 5, making a return to the calendar. Kyle Army will mark out the midway point of the season before we head to Imola for the first of 2 night races next season. Imola on the 18th, 19th and 20th of May to start off the back end of the calendar. Nürburgring is week 8, week 9 is the Red Bull Ring, week 10 is Alton Park, week 11 Watkins Glen, and week 12 Donington Park to end all things. Red Bull Ring as well will be a night race, which is going to be an interesting one to take a look at nonetheless as well. And don't forget, if you are in the Discord server or if you fancy being a part of the Patreon, £3 a month will reserve you a driver number, priority access to sign-ups and events such as these out there tonight. For the priority access to the events, you'll get the sign-ups earlier than the general public will do. Track suggestion towards future seasons, pre-season promo image done by our very own Dan Davis, and an auto share to social media links as well. Good afternoon to Hypertech, aka John Goodey, who's not able to take part in tonight's race. Great to see you with us in the chat though, John. Fantastic to see you here. And what a night this could be. No pit stops, no refuel. I mean, you can refuel, you can change tyres if you feel you need to, but it is just a 1 hour shootout. And boy oh boy, do we have some exciting things coming your way as well in the next couple of weeks. We've got one more fun event coming up, 2 weeks on a Wednesday evening. Sign-ups not yet out, the patrons have that priority at this moment in time for this next event, and it is a sort of V8 Supercars format. There will be a mandatory 25-second pit stop, and it is Ford GT3s and Chevrolet GT4s. At the minute, obviously, 3 of the patrons have decided to sign up for that event, so it's great to see. And it's going to be like an Aussie V8 type race on the mountain at Bathurst. That will be on the 22nd of January, so make sure you are there for that one. What a night that's going to be as the practice session comes to an abrupt end and we get ready to go qualifying here. And Dan Davis wasting no time but getting out there straight away. 20 minutes. Mike Matthews following suit as well. Straight out onto the track. All the Simplay Racing drivers in their lovely grey and orange livery. The new colour for Simplay Racing of orange this year. Dan sporting the yellow trim with Mike running the blue. So great to see the liveries out there, but Dan will be the first man on the track. And we can actually go and ride on board with Dan Davis for a lap of this fantastic Paul Ricard circuit. Gutted to miss this one, gutted to not have you here, John. Should be an interesting night. Obviously we had the fantastic multi-class event back at I've just remembered I've left it all on the Patreon layout, so we'll change that one for you now. We had a cracking multi-class race a few weeks ago back on I think he was in the Discord chat now as his DJ for. Yeah, cracking multi-class race at the Nürburgring a few weeks ago. I believe it's £3 monthly, Chris. For the Patreon. Let's wait and see what will happen then. So Dan Davis coming through towards the back end of the circuit. Patrick Lyger and a couple of the other cars. Sam Green still sat in the pit lane, as is that of Stephen Beck and Nuclear Waste as well. I believe one of them is on the way out now. That looks to me like it could be Nuclear Waste on his way out. Indeed it is. And Dan Davis then exits the final corner and comes down the start straight. Let's see what he can do. You can see in that little rear view mirror he's got there that Mike Matthews is still in sight down towards turn 1. That is Nuke Waste just coming out of the pit lane, so it could be a little bit of a nuisance coming down in towards turn 1. Dan comes hard on the brakes down into third gear, use as much of the curve as you can. Does he use a lot of the second? He does indeed. Rides it well out to the outside on the exit of turn 2. Now down this little left-hand bend, you kind of run over the curve, brake hard in towards 3. Again, a lot of the curve there, he gets it horribly wrong. That'll be an invalidation on his lap. We'll go back to Mike Matthews and watch Mike Matthews and Nuke Waste in the way a little bit, and this could really hurt Mike in qualifying as well, although will Dan Davis look to give him a slipstream, as there is Nuke Waste in his tiny GT4 car trying to get out the way. Oh, he's now got in the way! And that'll ruin Mike Matthews' qualifying as well. We'll stay on board with Mike Matthews, but there'll be time to find out when will the registration be like for next season. I'm certainly not asking this for any suspicious reasons. Does that mean Ben's got a PS5? Ben, or an Xbox? If so, that's great. The sign-ups will be live as from tonight. If you are in the Discord, they will go public to the SimGrid next week. Giving priority to, so patrons have had them for a couple of days, then our drivers will get priority, and then they'll go public next week. But so far in towards the long right-hander. Good evening to Fat Bloke as well. Happy race day, chaps. This one should be a good one. Really looking forward to the new season starting. Great to see you back as well. Arthur Daly, good evening to yourself, buddy. Looking forward to see Fat Bloke back out on the circuit as well then, as Mike Matthews now comes through. We know that Nuke Waste kind of got in his way coming onto the back straight. Dan Davis just in front of him. You just see kicking up a little bit of dirt as he runs a lot of curbs, stays as far left as he can, and Mike Matthews is going to come towards the line to finish and complete his first flying lap of the session. And what will Mike Matthews do, unless he invalidated it at some point? Comes to the line and did probably invalidate it at some point. Braga is to the line and he doesn't even set a lap time as well. In fact, nobody putting in lap times at the minute. Car 59 looks the first one to be on a valid lap time, so we'll take a look for car 59. If we can find out who car 59 is that of Stephen Millington, running in the Cam Racing Audi, part of the Greasy Bandit stable now. And down the start straight, Stephen Millington comes this evening and manages to put it at the top of the timing screens, I do believe, into P4, because Michael Harris, Pedro Vieira, Paulo Vieira and Joe Bates all go ahead of him. Let's jump down then to car number 12, that of Matt White, then making his Simplay debut, if you will. He's looking to put on a good show for everybody back in the ARL community. He's going to come to the line. Diz E. Collin, currently the pole man with a 11.3 off the back of Matt White. Wow, heck of a qualifying lap time that is from the young man there. DJ Phil's next up to the time at the moment. He's gone P6. We'll jump back to car 200. That is Twardok, who is down in P12 at the moment. And Twardok then goes and invalidates his lap time, so wasn't on a valid one. Car 4, that'll be Andrew Taylor in the Simplay Racing GT4 and manages to get a lap time on the board. Good enough for P10. Gary Leach is in the server as well, so great to see. Car 88 next to the line, that'll be Matt Hicks. Just ahead then of Ian Best, running the same liveries for Quattroversal. P9 for Matt Hicks, and believe, did we see another time on the board? Bettison, is that just behind him? No, it's not. He's into pit lane. Car 11 and car number 1 are coming to the line though, so we'll stay on board with Mike Matthews as Dan Davis goes to 16, goes to top the time screen, and Mike Matthews follows him home. Car 1 of Braga looks like he's on an invalidated lap. Then there's that of O'Reilly. What a season O'Reilly had last year. He now goes into second place. 13 is in the midst of a heck of a lot of cars, so we'll go to 59 of Millington. A lot of numbers in there. We'll see if anybody jumps up the leaderboard at this moment in time. Ben Ruck did, so Ben goes up in onto the leaderboard. Losh goes into P8 as well. And Millington to the line. Can he improve on his time? No, stays where he was. 77 next up, that is Colin once again. As Colin to the line. Does he improve on his time at the moment? He does. He goes ahead of Matthew Hicks and goes just a little bit off the back of Matt Wright. Now then, 826 will be coming to the line. That is Amir. And there's Amir down towards the line. They come, goes up into P16 overall. Number 12 of Matt White once again towards the line. Does he find improvement? He finds a couple of tenths and manages to stay P12. Big ask though for him to obviously get onto the back of that of DJ Fillers. Tardos there manages to go provisional pole with a 53.9. Now obviously multi-class racing normally on certain channels like ARL does bring the fact that the classes will qualify at different times. Here it is a free-for-all tonight in terms of the qualifying that these boys and girls have to do out there. So it's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on this different qualifying format and who is doing what in that qualifying session. This could be crucial to see now who is doing the business out there on track tonight. Let's go back to car number 1. That is that of Braga in the GT2. There's a car just off near him. That is one of the GT4 Audis. Here comes Braga to the line. He goes. Can he put a lap time on the board? He does. Good enough for 10th overall. 13 is involved in this thick of this gaggle of cars that is coming towards the line at the moment. There is a car just in front of him. Can't quite make out. It was 36 of Clouden who goes P5. Joe remains where he is. Where's the 34 then of Michael Harris in that little mix as well. Next on a valid lap will be the 77 of that of Colin once again down the order. And here is Colin doing the business at the moment, trying to just be able to creep out in front in this GT4 category at the moment. Here he comes towards the line. Colin improves but doesn't find enough time there. There is a car coming towards the last corner but can't make out the number, so we will go to the 53 of that of DJ Phil. It was the 33 of that of Loesch, who moves up into P8 ahead of Vieira, and that of Benjamin Ruck then. Here is DJ Phil Green, aka Phil Atherton. Round to the final corner, sticking to the wheel. I know he's been testing the Audi in pre-season testing. Here he comes towards the line. Any improvement he does, he finds some time and manages to stay where he is for the time being though. Elijah and Rob Smith yet to set a lap time, so they're going to be starting in the mix of all the GT4 cars at the moment. That's going to be an interesting watch. Good evening to Tips in the chat. As next up is Andrew Taylor, who is going to come towards the line to start another lap. Does he improve on his time? Needs 7/10 of a second to get ahead. Doesn't find anything this time around. Let's go to the 74. That is that of Kieran O'Reilly. There's a number 88 behind, just had a moment. Believe that is car number 1 in front of him of that of Braga. Braga moves up to 8th. O'Reilly goes ahead of Dan Davis into 2nd place. The top 3 separated by 600ths of a second. What can Jamal Clouden do as he's about to come down towards the line? He goes provisional pole in the GT3 car. Joseph Bates stays where he is. The number 81 is also coming to the line of Vieira, who moves up into 8th place. Now what about the 105? And the 105 is out of Rob Smith down in the GT2. Can he find a time on the board to put him up there? No, yes he can, sorry, P14 overall. Not sure who the 59 is in a bit of a tangle with. That is Nuke Waste, the 159. But Jamal Clouden in a GT3 car, 83 thousandths of a second separate the top 4. Here comes and that of Nuclear Waste to the line, and he stays down in P23 for the time being then. Next car on a valid lap is that of the 501 of Robert Ramsell before the 68 then of that down the order. Here comes Robert Ramsell towards the line. Any improvement for him? No, he doesn't improve. The 68, I believe, is the next car towards the line. I cannot see the 68. Stephen Beck, there he is down the order. He's down in 15th place. What about the number 9? That then is Patrick Lyger, who moves up into P9 overall. So a good lap from him. Car 11's next on the lap. Only 0.28 off the back of this provisional pole time. So going to be interesting to see at the moment. Here comes Michael Matthews then to the line. No improvement for Mike Matthews here. Then the 74 of O'Reilly needs very small amount of time to go provisional pole with 8 minutes left. Can't find it there. 105 next on a lap time. That is Rob Smith. 4.4 off the pole at the moment. And I tell you what, this has got the making. Why does this just have the feeling of one of these 4, possibly even a Mike Matthews pole position, and just another last gas pole here in qualifying in Simplay Motorsport? It gives you them kind of vibes at the moment. Here comes then Rob Smith towards the line. He comes now, stays P13 in this one at the moment. The 501 of Robert Ramsell will be next to the line on a valid lap. Let's hear from you in the chat as well. Any questions you would like to ask, get them in the chat. We'll try and answer your questions as soon as possible. But thank you all for joining. Thank you all for being here. Just looking who's not got a lap time on the board. Ian Best, Sam Greaves, Gary Leach yet to get a lap time on the board. Here comes Robert Ramsell, 3.1 off provisional pole to the line. Car number 14 to the line now, improves 2.7 off the pole, goes into 13th place. The number I can't see who's next across the line. Can't quite make out the number. It was the 68 of Steve Beck, still down in 15th place. Good evening to Beto in the chat. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Our first look at Gary Leach this evening. Running in the Simplay Racing colours as well, the orange and grey with the green trim. Not running the blue, same as Ben, Mike and Monkey. So Gary Leach rounding the final couple of corners. And out the final corner he comes now, does Gary Leach. He's got that of Mike Matthews just behind him. Gary goes 26th and currently 8 tenths off the back of Andrew Taylor at the moment. And I don't think that is actually Mike Matthews. I think that's Ben just going past him there. There it was. We've got the 105 of Robert Smith next. Needs 3 tenths to get out of Robert Ramsell. Here he comes, the GT2 driver. Great to hear, Beto. Good luck tonight, buddy. Obviously, I see you out there on the track. Hopefully you have a good one. Rob Smith to the line, moves up to 13th place, finds a bit more than the 3 tenths he was looking for. Michael Harris, 9 tenths off. Provisional pole, big twitch. That'll be an invalid lap. That'll be an invalid lap. Car 9 of Patrick Lyger just behind him then. So as Harris is still on one, so we'll keep our eyes on Harris. I definitely thought like he'd gone over the white lines. Going to be an interesting one to see then. Here comes Lyger towards the final couple of corners. And through the final bend he goes now. Powers out of the corner. 1.1 off the current pole time at the moment. Just needs a tenth to go ahead of 2 cars in front of him. What do he find? He finds that 10th and goes ahead of Harris, who did improve himself, and that of Joe Bates then. Next car near the 501 of Robert Ramsell is that of, I believe, that is the... It's one of the grey BMWs, and it is not that of Diz. It's Amir. So Amir here, coming towards the line, 13.3 off the pole. Currently 2.2 off the pole in class, goes up to 22nd place at the moment. Gary Leach coming through as well. Best and Grieve still yet to get a lap time on the board. Great to hear, Beto. Here comes Gary Leach out the final corner now. That's Mike Matthews behind him, and Mike stays that left-hand side to power past Gary Leach to the line. Does Gary improve? He does, and finds enough to go ahead of the Simplay Racing driver Andrew Taylor on the grid. The 16 of Dan Davis is coming towards the final couple of corners, running in the orange and grey and yellow. Clouden still in the pits. Is Clouden thinking he's got enough done here? Dan Davis then, 0.08 of a second off of provisional pole, down towards the timing screen. He comes once again. Dan Davis to the line, doesn't improve any this time around. 200 of Tardock is next up. What will he be able to do? Tardock to the line, stays 200s off of provisional pole. There is a driver in GT4 coming through the final corner. That is Matt Wright, sorry. As Matt White is in the pit lane. Here comes Matt White. Matt Wright goes provisional pole by 0.6 of a second over Matt White then in the GT4 category. Here's our first proper look at Ben. So Matt Wright out qualifying at the moment. Matt White with 2 minutes left, so Matt White needs to get out there now really to get a qualifying lap in, and he'll only get one run. Ben Rook stays P6. He looks like he's done for qualifying for the day. Fury stays down in 9th. What about Mike Matthews? Could still get 2 more laps on the board. Comes towards the line, goes a little bit quicker, but not enough to move up a position. The 105 of Rob Smith is coming through the final couple of corners. Makes a little mistake there on the final corner. That's going to compromise his exit out of there, and down towards the start line he comes, and it doesn't improve. No surprise there. The 33 of, who was that in the 33 making a jump up? That was Loesch and Elijah coming through as well. But we go to 74 of O'Reilly, who finds a 10th and goes provisional pole at the moment. Dan Davis now needs to find 0.2 of a second. I said there could be a late dart for pole position. What does Dan Davis do as he comes across the line now? No improvement. He'll get one more shot at this. Michael Harris to the line. But Kieran O'Reilly puts it not only on GT2 pole, but on provisional pole altogether. Here comes Harris towards the line, goes above Patrick Liger, but Liger's going to set a lap time himself, can't answer back. The 81 of Vieira is next. Drivers in the pits now will not get a final lap time in. Clouden done, Dan Davis done, Ben Rook done, Harris done that we can see. Here comes Vieira to get one more lap time on the board. No improvement for him. The 501 is next. That is Robert Ramsell. 2.8 off the pole. He's not last in this category. He's got 3 GT3 cars behind him. And to the line he comes now. Doesn't find an improvement. Who's that just behind the 13 of Joe Bates? Mike Matthews is in that mix. We'll keep our eyes out on who the GT4 car is as well. It is Andrew Taylor, who will get one more run in, as will Mike Matthews. Does Mike improve? He finds a 10th. And Andrew Taylor, what did he do? Well, he's still down in 25th. He's gone back ahead of Gary Leach. crucially, who's in the pit lane. Car number 9 next out on the circuit. Not many cars left on track to get a lap time in. And Elijah there then done in qualifying, as is Twardock. Then we've got Mike Matthews still out on circuit at the moment, but it's the 59 who's coming towards the end of his lap. That is Robert Ramsell. Sorry, no, it's Stephen Millington. Coming towards the end. The 159 is also there as well. That is Nuke Waste, and then there is Mike Matthews and Monkey Boy. Andrew Taylor left. Ian Best and Sam Greaves didn't get a lap time on the board. And here comes Millington towards the line. He comes. What will his lap time be? He stays P16 overall in this session. Nuke Waste now towards the end of his lap. It'll be interesting to see what lap time he'll put on the board. He's got it's probably a good job that Mike Matthews is way behind at the moment, so that he's not going to sort of put Nuke Waste under any pressure. Mike Matthews is done. He's gone back to the pit lane. Here comes Nuke Waste to the line. He comes, doesn't improve. Monkey Boy just needs... Andrew Taylor just needs to find half a second here. And what is he going to be able to put on the board in this race? Into the final corner, a tenth quicker than Gary. Best and Greaves, no lap times on the board. Can he find some time to move him up the order? Here comes Andrew Taylor towards the line in qualifying. What does he do? He stays where he was, and that then is your qualifying result here for this evening's race in the GT3 category tonight. Then. So we'll go through the grid order on the formation lap. And we'll run through each and every single driver we can see. So let's try and go on the Helicam if we can. So Kieran O'Reilly running in the GT2 class this evening. Great drive in the Aston Martin and in the Ginetta if it wasn't for wheel problems. Could have really had a good go in both championships, running car number 74. Jamal Clouden of GT3 is running in car number 36 of the GT3. He's poled for that category. Then it is Tardok in GT2's running P3 at the moment, car number 200. Dan Davis, our 10-time champion, running in car number 16 for a change. He's P4. Mike Matthews, 3 times a constructor champion, running P5. Ben Rook, 6th place for car number 140. Lewis, P7 for car 33. Michael Harris, runner-up last season, car 34. Patrick Elijah, 4 race wins last season. He's car number 9 in P9. 20 seconds. Joe Bakes, 4-timer champion on Simplay Motorsport, 1 Pro-Am and then 3 Side Series championships to his name. He's running P10 with Pedro Vieira running in P11. Braga is P12 with Rob Smith 13th. Robert Ramsell P14 with Stephen Beck 15th place. Steve Millington is 16th with Bettison P17. DJ Phil down in 18th place with Matt Wright running 19th. Matt White from ARL running in P20. E. Colin aka Diz running the 77 from 21st. Amaya running 22nd. Matthew Hicks 23rd. Nuclear Waste 24th. Andrew Taylor, 1-time Pro-Am champion 25th. Gary Leach, 2-time Pro champion in 26th. Ian Best, Sam Greaves and John Gooday has managed to get in, but we'll start from the pit lane in his category then. So we get ready for the GT3s now then. who is going to take the race win tonight. That is going to be the biggest question, I think, that's going to be answered around this circuit. So it's going to be an interesting one to see for sure what these drivers have got. And obviously with the introduction of Jamal Clouden in there, as I've hit drive like a fool, so I'll have to wait till the race starts to return to the garage, but with Jamal Clouden being in that mix, you know, he should be good through sectors 1 and 3, but in that sector 2 he could get attacked by them GT2 cars. So this could be interesting. The bonus for John Gooday is he's got a chance to get his setup loaded, got a chance to get fuel loaded and make sure he is ready to go. As we enter into this 60-minute race. Let's have an answer in the chat. Who do we think is going to win this race? Who do we think is going to win which category of racing as well? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. And let's hear your thoughts on who you think will win each category outright. As we get ready here then to start our second fun event of the off-season. One more to go before the start of the season then, which starts the first week of February, in which we cannot wait to get underway at Brands Hatch, the British roller coaster, if you will. This should be a fascinating one to see what will happen here. Looks like they've been told to start to maybe go double file as cars start to line up double file now. Couple of corners to go. The GT3s have got a bonus here. They've got tyre blankets. Their tyres are going to be no mandatory pit stop, Chris, just a straight 1 hour race. Their tyres of the GT3 cars are going to be right up to temperature before the GT2s are. So this could help Clouden early on in this race, and you're just seeing how much some of these GT3s GT2s are having to work to get their tyres up to temperature. So it could be an interesting start to this. We round the final corner though. It is O'Reilly, your pole sitter overall and in the GT2 class. It is Clouden, your second place man, GT3 pole. The GT4's funnel out the backfield. And for the one and only time tonight, it is at Paul Ricard. Green and go here for the start of this funny to celebrate Audi's 25th year of winning at Le Mans. And look at them GT2 start to swallow Clouden up in towards turn 1. They're 3 abreast. Tardock and Dan Davis going in towards turn 1. Mike Matthews and Ben Rook now looking to make it 3 wide with that of Jamal Clouden, who manages to hang in there over Ben and now hanging there over Mike. And this is where Jamal can really use his GT3 power in the corners to pull through, but Mike Matthews manages to get ahead as he looks to break it on Dan Davis. Bit of action in behind with Ben Rook and that of Loesch in the 2 GT2s as now Clouden comes back on that of Mike Matthews down in towards turns 3, 4 and 5, and that is a great move from that of Jamal Clouden, who manages to get ahead. But let's see Mike Matthews here then. He's going to absolutely swallow up that of Jamal Clouden. Down this straight we go. Watch the closing speed here on the helicopter camera. Here comes Mike Matthews. There goes Mike Matthews. Jamal does not even stand a chance. And just while we do that, just so we can change the camera angle back once again, there's a battle out front between Tardock and O'Reilly for the race lead. Here we go down the back straight. Dan Davis is having a look. 3 wide, maybe no. Dan Davis going to try and make it side by side with O'Reilly. Through into the left hand kink. There you go. Great move from Tardock and from Dan Davis, all within limits. And here comes Clouden back on Mike Matthews. Mike didn't get the run he wanted exactly. He's gone a little wider, and just the fact that that GT3 is able to turn through the corners. Clouden's back ahead. Ben Rook having a great fight with Loesch, and that of Joseph Bates, as well as what looks to be Michael Harris. Braga's in this mix also. Down towards the GT4s, Matt White has lost out there then the lead to what, it's not Matthew Hicks, Matt Wright is down the order. It's I believe that is Colin who leads this category. It is, but what a race here in GT4. Look at them all coming through the end of this circuit. The GT4's having a great time at the moment. Come on, Joe, says Fury's granddad. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down towards Gary Leach is where they all are. And this is looking on board Gary Leach. You see in the cars out front as Matt Wright looking to make a move maybe on that of Colin as they came through sector 2. The timing screen, they come towards the start line, sorry, so the timing screen just light up. Matt Wright has got back ahead of Matt White here. They come across the line and it is Colin from Wright, from White, from Leach, Matthew Hickst, Phil Atherton. Poor start for him in the GT3 car, trying to make his way through the GT4 field without causing any incidents. In towards turn 1 he comes. He's just got to be careful as DJ Philly will have the outright pace. Bettison's down the back of the pack, and John Gooday, who obviously started from pits, he'll be going once again. Dan Davis leads out front though, from Twardosh, from Riley, from Main Clouden, who's sticking with them GT2 cars. This is on board Mike Matthews, and Clouden's got the slipstream then of O'Reilly just in front, but look at Mike Matthews pull out. Clouden is a sitting duck in his little GT3 car, and look at the gap now as he tries to stick in the slipstream, and Mike Matthews is helpless at the moment and cannot find a way through. Tardok having a look on Dan Davis through the right hand bend. They go. Dan's had to take a wider line. Tardok still side by side with him. This is where Clouden can come back at Mike Matthews as well, really mixing the GT2s with the GT3s then here in this race. Clouden's back out of Mike. This will be frustrating Mike a little bit, and Tardok and Dan Davis going wheel to wheel. Great bit of action already down the pack as well. Loesch on the back then of that of Joseph Bates. And great to see that such drama already out front. Bit of a gap back to Patrick Lyger. Rob Smith's coming under pressure from Robert Ramsell there then. Again in a section where the GT3 will just be that little bit more dominant. Here comes Colin. Just ahead then is Matt Wright now, who's just made the move. DJ Phil trying to come through the pack as well. Matt White is out. Drop behind him. And Gary Leach trying to hang on in there. Gary Leach fighting Matt White on a Sunday night over at ARL. There's Matthew Hicks. There's Amir down the order from Newt Waste. Bettison's trying to come through the pack, and John Gooday is now starting to catch the GT4s once again as well. Huge gap between GT3 and GT4, but it's Tardok from Dan Davis down in towards the first couple of corners. O'Reilly from Cloud, and Mike Matthews now sat behind Benjamin. So I'm not sure what's happened to Mike, but he's lost out to Ben. He's got Joe and Loesch right up behind Joseph Bates here. And then there's Michael Harris, Nicholas Broger, Lager. So a great fight no matter where you look. Well, once again, look, Clouden kind of being assisted here with that slipstream of the GT2 in front of O'Reilly. He's able to help him stick with them on this back straight a little bit. You can see the closing speed, look, of Ben and Mike Matthews. But they're just going to run out of straight. Mike's having a look to the outside of Ben. Ben's going to have a look up the inside of Jamal Clouden. And this is going to get very spicy. In towards the right hand bend. Ben's up the inside. Oh, touch Clouden. Clouden across the road and backwards. And that's going to really hurt him. There's a drive-through penalty for Ian Best. I missed why. But Jamal Clouden, not only does he lose that fourth place, he loses the lead of the GT3s. And that's going to go the way of Harris. Then Ledger. Robert Ramsell's also got through. Vieira as well, I believe. No, there is Jamal Clouden. So Vieira just missed out. Spinner as well, car 59. That is Millington, who's had an off at some point. Back down to GT4's Matt Wright ahead of Colin, with Matt White right behind him, putting him under some pressure. Gary Leach just behind. John Gooday now trying to carve his way through the field. He's already got past Bettison as well, so he's managed to make his way through the pack. Chris in the chat saying that was all Clouden. Good job, this is just a fun event. As Dan Davis now starting to put that of Tardich under some pressure. Mike Matthews being put under pressure. Joseph Bates got ahead of Mike Matthews and that of Benjamin Rook as well. So interesting to see. Here is Ben. Didn't get the best runs through the first couple of corners. In the new Simplay Racing colours is Ben now. And he's going toe-to-toe with the team owner Mike Matthews through the first couple of corners. They coming towards turn 5 now. He's got Loesch on the back of him. Then there's Broger having a good fight with Harris. Patrick Ledger on the back. The top 10 pretty close. I say the top 10. Joseph Bates got a good gap behind him to Mike Matthews and has got a bit of work to catch O'Reilly, but it's Tardok who leads from Davies from O'Reilly. And then we still got Matt White, who is trying to catch onto the back then of that of E. Colin. And Ian Best, who's got a drive-through penalty to his name. Drive-through penalty at Paul Ricard will cost you the best of 27 seconds. It'll cost you roughly 23% of your lap. Here comes Matt White being overtaken by John Gooday round the outside onto the back straight. Drive-through cleared for Best. And now Colin being put a lap on by John Gooday, and I assume Matt Wright will be as well by the end of the straight. Dan Davis O'Leary was second in the Super Trofeos overall at the Nürburgring. Let's not forget, it's not about the wins per category, it's about the wins in that race that they have to do. Dan Davis coming down the start straight now then. What is he going to be able to do? This is going to be the question. An hour's race, so a long time really. You've got to pace yourself, and we know that Dan, as a 10-time champion, is more than capable of doing so. If we drop back, O'Reilly's dropped off. Fury, aka Joseph Bates, has gained a little bit, but he's not yet close enough at this time. Mike's also closed the gap on him. He's bringing Benjamin Ruck with him. So they're trying to go toe-to-toe at the moment. And they've got Braga and Loesch with them. Michael Harris just dropping off the back to Patrick Lager. Cloudon's on the back of Rob Smith now in the GT2s. And here comes Cloudon. This is where he's going to lose out to that of Rob Smith in this GT2 category at the moment. Just down to the fact of the straight line speed. He could come under pressure from Steve Beck in a moment's time. Back down to Matt White, who's on the back of Colin once again. But we've also got Amir, and Taylor's on the back of Greaves. So whatever's happened to Taylor, in fact, no, he's not, because Greaves in the wall, so Taylor's through. And Amir trying to gain on the back of Nuke Waste in this race. Then Matt White looking on the back of Colin as well. Down the back straight they come. 79's about to have a lap put on him by that of Dan Davis and Tardok then. So an interesting one to say the least already at the start of this race. Dan Davis just losing out a little bit this lap. Joseph Bates gained within a second now of O'Reilly. So it's pretty interesting to see there that Joseph Bates just starting to catch O'Reilly a little bit, under a second. Benjamin as well putting Mike Matthews under pressure, with Loesch now ahead of Braga. Braga's still with him. And it's Elijah, Harris. Cloudon did get ahead of Rob Smith. In fact, Rob Smith dropped down to 15th place. Bettison coming through the field. He's got to pass the top three in the GT4 category. And Amir now then, 7/10 off the back of Nuclear Waste, who also looks like he's gained on the back of Matt Hicks here. And there is a spinner. I believe John Gooday's had a moment. He has. He's dropped back down the back of the pack. Andrew Taylor, drive-through penalty early on in the race. And Amir here on the back of Nuke Waste. Nuke Waste in a trio of fights here with Matthew Hicks as well. And Andrew Taylor, well, that'll put to bed a good result for him in GT4s today. That is not what he'd have wanted. Drive-through penalty, 2 laps remaining for him. So he's got work to do again. Back forward to Michael Harris in this race, who's had a big slide through the long right-hander. Manages to keep it all together on the back of Elijah then once again. Mike's gapped Ben a little bit, but has also been gapped by Joseph Bates. And it is actually that new race fight that's the closest fight on circuit at the moment. So This will be interesting to see what he can do in this race. Down the back straight they come. Once again here. Been a good start to this race. Nuke Waste just able to stay out in front a little bit at the moment. There's John Goodale just trying to unlap himself once again, trying to come back through the field after his moment he's had somewhere. It's gone wide through there. We'll go back to Jamal Clouden at the moment, who's trying to get past out of Loesch. So he's clearly got paces, Jamal, out there today. But he's just got to make sure he can put it all together after the moment he had earlier in this race. Going up the inside through the long right-hander does Jamal. That's a nice little overtake that for Clouden. Moves back up inside the top 10 overall at this stage of the race. 15 minutes currently gone here at Paul Ricard. We've got Millington having a fight with his Cam Racing teammate, that of Robert Ramsell. Great to see this little battle play out between the two teammates down the order. John Gooday, where's he got himself? Looking at the track map, he's gaining on the back of Gary Leach. Drive through cleared for Andrew Taylor. Matt White now, once again, trying to get onto the back of that of E. Cullen. And you can just see that slipstream just starting to pull him in a little bit here for Matt Wright at the moment, coming down the back straight at Paul Ricard. Chucks it into that 7th gear while he's in the slipstream just to try and get a bit more momentum. Down towards the right hand bend they're going to go, and he's going to have to wait for one more lap, is Matt Wright, because he's just got to hang on in there. Matt Wright currently leading the way in this category at the moment. Gary Leach has been overtaken by John Gooday, no surprise there. Vieira trying to gain on the back of Steve Beck. Yeah, this is Steve Beck. Sorry, two drivers running the same livery tonight. That is Loesch and Braga. Braga's on the back of Benjamin Rook here by 0.6 of a second. Gap out front, Dan Davies fastest lap, but Tardok has got that gap up to 1.3 seconds. Track is sat at 28 degrees temperature at the moment. And there is a yellow flag down the back straight. Not quite sure who for. There is a yellow flag. Has Mike Matthews had a moment? No, he's up the top here. So that could be Andrew Taylor, I'm wondering, who I saw the orange and blue. It was Andrew Taylor, who's now gone a lap down. So is Ian Best. Andrew Taylor only 14 seconds behind Sam, who's got damage. He's now under blue flag conditions of the others. Now, blue flag conditions in this lobby, or in this race today, the slower car stays on the racing line. It is down to the faster drivers to make their way past. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, do hit that thumbs up button and the bell to be notified when we are live, as well as subscribe if you are new. We're getting close towards 850 mark already, so it'll be fantastic to see us achieve that before maybe the start of the season. It'll be fantastic. Joseph Bates now is within a second again of O'Reilly, but Mike Matthews has closed the gap there. Braga's trying to get close to the back of Ben Rook. As we're going to be starting to see teams and driver lineups and cars announced for the upcoming season. The deadline for cars to be announced is the 31st. Vieira on the back of Steve Beck here. Close fight in GT. Oh no, so that's Gary to John Gooday. John Gooday, I believe, had another moment here then, because he should have pulled away from Gary a bit more than that. Yeah, I mean, I noticed this in the other event that the blue flag guys did still move out the way, even though because it's multi-class format. It's a bit like Le Mans and World Endurance, where we ask the slower cars to stay on the line to be a bit more predictable, but if they're the ones moving out the way, then absolutely fine. As we've got Ben Ruck, he's lost out to Braga. So Ben's had that move done on him. Joseph Bates running in his old red, blue and black is gaining on the back of O'Reilly here, but O'Reilly's just been held a little bit. That looks like Nuke Waste just ahead that they're putting a lap on. So it looks like O'Reilly just got held a little bit by Nuclear Waste then, as they come down in towards turn 1. Dan Davis as well just finding a bit of traffic ahead of him, whereas Tordok hasn't got any traffic at the moment to speak of. For Joseph Bates at the moment, on his return, let's not forget, goes up the inside of the next car ahead. And there you can see, look, that's how much the traffic has hurt Dan Davis, because O'Reilly and Joe Bates are right on the back of him now. And Dan's lost nearly 3 seconds lapping that traffic on the rest of the field. So Dan Davis there, just, I wouldn't say struggling, but getting caught out by the traffic. That could help O'Reilly and Joseph Bates now end. Mike Matthews within a second of Joe now as well. And this is where Braga and Ben Ruck down the back straight can just sort of work their way through this GT4 traffic nice and easy. I don't think Ben's going to be able to get the next car before the right hand bends. No, he's not. But for O'Reilly, for Dan Davis, he's been the biggest loser out of all the traffic there at the moment. Just 19 minutes into this race. As Dan Davis now puts a lap on Gary Leach, who stays well out the way of the 3, maybe 4 cars. No, Mike's had a problem somewhere. He's lost out a lot of time. But Dan now has let O'Reilly and that of Joseph Bates into that slipstream. Joe will be getting that double slipstream down the start-finish straight here. 3.2 the gap. Dan's just extended slightly over O'Reilly. Just a little bit. And Ben Ruck trying not to let Dan Davis go either. Patrick Ledger has got that of Clouden right behind him. GT3 versus GT3. This is for the GT3 lead. Clouden on a charge. He's past Harris. He's past Ledger. Now up the inside goes Ledger. Back at him. Clouden will have the outside left turn 2. He's had to cut the next bit. That'll definitely be a track limit warning for sure there, you'd imagine, for Jamal Clouden. Yes, he's lost a bit of time and has now come under pressure from Harris, but track limits can be very, very cruel around this circuit. And Jamal Clouden just getting one wrong there. O'Reilly back within 3/10 of Dan Davis. Very close this for O'Reilly at the moment. He's got Fury right behind him. And Mike's not a million miles away at the minute. Coming down the back straight now. Dan Davis 2.4 off the back of Tordok. So Tordok at some point has lost out here. They're gaining on Colin and that of White to pop a lap on now. John Gooday finally passed all the GT4s as here comes Joseph Bates looking up the inside of that of O'Reilly, and through he goes on the right hand bend. Joseph Bates up onto the podium. Second race back since his absence for Joseph Bates, and he's back on the podium here. Did he take the podium back in the multi-class race in the Porsche Carrera Cups? Let's take a look. He did. He was third place in the Porsche Cup as well, which O'Reilly won that category. And now they're on the back of Dan Davis as Matt White. They're being lapped by the 3 GT2s. And now that of E. Colin being lapped by the 3 GT2s as well. And Fury nearly into the back of Dan Davis. O'Reilly kind of getting held a little bit by that of Colin, who's putting the lap on them. And Mike Matthews gets through, and he's now come to play as well. But Joe Bates nearly into the back of Dan Davis there. Has got O'Reilly coming and has got that of Mike Matthews coming as well. The grit between his teeth for Joe Bates here. And what a time for Joe Bates on this lobby, and we've got 3 for second place. Dan, Joe Bates, O'Reilly, Mike Matthews. At the moment, we'll say with Joe's in that slipstream, we've got Clouden still on the back of Patrick Lyger. We're just going to watch this fight at the moment. There is Matt Wright moving out the way of 1, 2, 3, 4 GT2 cars. And then who's that about to come under blue flags? I wonder if that's Best coming under blue flags. Yellow flag for the 59 of Millington. So not sure what's happened to him. And Fury, aka Joe Bates, getting really close to back of Dan Davis still for Best right out the way as here comes Joe looking up the inside of Dan Davis through the right hand curve. There you go, and Joe Bates having that tighter line gets up to second place ahead of Dan Davis. Then Joseph Bates, a man on a mission, bit of a twitch on corner exit. Here comes Dan Davis now, O'Reilly to follow. Dan Davis looking back up the inside and gets the job done, as now does O'Reilly. Have a look as well. Joe now will have the inside line, bit of hip and shoulder. This could invite Mike Matthews into play. Dan and O'Reilly through. Joe back down to 4th place. Mike Matthews watching on as well. And what a scrap this is as Joe gets a good run. Bit of acceleration in towards the final bend. Now down the start straight they can come again. And Dan Davis came undone a little bit there as Joe Bates got through, but manages to answer back to Joe. And then Joe with a bit of hip and shoulder there. What a fight this is. Here comes Joe again. O'Reilly goes defensive in towards turn 1. Drop down to Ledger and Clouden as we'll watch them come through turn 1. Ledger defends the inside. A couple of blue flags being waved here, and Clouden given enough space on that outside line to hang on in there at the moment. But Tordok here, 4.1 seconds in the lead, could be on for a debut win. Dan Davis just putting a bit of a daylight between himself and O'Reilly. Mike Matthews will just want to get a little bit closer to Fury once again. And let's go on board with Joe, because he seemed to get a mega run down the back straight in the slipstream off of Dan Davis last time around. Let's see what he can do now in that slipstream once again. This time of O'Reilly coming down the back straight, not gaining massively at the moment is Joe. He is now though. Look at the mount, he's just close up there a little bit, and he's still coming. And this is where he's going to possibly have a look at the inside of the right-hand bend. Pulls out now. Has he enough of a car alongside? Joe Bates back through on O'Reilly. And Joe Bates can go searching after Dan. That's a little wide, and O'Reilly's going to try and come back at Joseph Bates here. Up the inside where Joe got past Dan Davis. This is all going to help Dan. O'Reilly has a bit of a slide. Joe hangs it around the outside line on O'Reilly there. This is a great bit of fighting between the pair of them at the moment. And Joe manages to hang on in there again. And now can head after Dan Davis one more time. But what a race this is between the top 4 or 4 of the top 5 in this GT2 class. Clouden's got ahead of Ledger. Vieira's on the back of that of Stephen Beck. They just put in a lap on Matt White. And that GT2 battle, White and Collin, just been GT4 battle just been interrupted by the lapping traffic. As at the minute, what a fight between 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th in this GT2 fight. 6 of the 10 GT2s all running in the tops. Sorry, 7 of the GT2s running in the top 7 out of 10 of them. Joe's made a mistake. Rejoins in front of Mike. Mike giving Joe a flash of the lights there. Joe gets a little sideways once again as Joe's tyre's gone. As Mike Matthews now gets through Joe. And as Joe just pushed his luck a little bit, we're halfway through the race. We saw that the Super Trofeos look like, or Porsche Cup cars look like their tyres started to die off at the end of the race, and the Ferrari Challengers. But we've not yet to see the GT2s on this channel. So unsure on their characteristics at the moment, but so far Mike Matthews back ahead of Joe, and Joe just a couple of moments that could suggest his tyres. We know what Joe can be like with being aggressive on them. Back down towards Vieira on the back of Steve Beck. Steve Beck in that GT2 should start to pull away. Let's go back down to GT4s. Matt White's trying to get on the back of Colin. Where is Matt Wright? He is miles out in front of this category at the moment. John Goodeft sorting from the pit lane and having a few mistakes. He's only 10 seconds off the back of Bettison. He's just been lapped by that of Tardock. And Joe and Mike now just losing out to O'Reilly. Just a little bit this lap. O'Reilly still with Dan. Dan's 5.9 off the back of Tardock now. That is Clouden getting past Benjamin Rook. So Ben has lost out to Clouden. May get him back here though. Just depends how much Clouden pulls away. Clouden's looking really good in that Audi at the moment, it has to be said. Looks really quick out there at the moment, does Jamal. That means his engine is slightly worn. If that's what is on Ben's dashboard, his engine is slightly worn then, so the GT2's maybe just over revving slightly. I had it in a GT4 car around here. So already started to see some engine trouble. O'Reilly on the back of Dan. Mike Matthews back under a second. Back over a second now. Joseph Bates with Braga trying to catch them up. Ben did lose out to Clouden. Can he then gain back on Clouden down the straight? He gains, but not enough. And Clouden should be able to start to pull away now. Vieira on the back of Beck's. But you imagine Beck. Yeah, it's been yellow for a few laps. That could be the fact that his engine is slightly warm. And you cannot repair that, I am told. Bettison on the back of DJ Phil. In fact, no, he's not. He's ahead of DJ Phil. I don't know where DJ Phil's gone there. That's because the leader has come through. DJ Phil has avoided the leader there. And then John Gooday will pass DJ Phil for DJ Phil's troubles. So DJ Phil then, by moving out of the way, has lost a place. And there's Dan Davis, and O'Reilly's going to try and look to get past as well, and they do. Look at Fury now, coming under a bit of pressure from Braga. Dan now has a gap over a second to O'Reilly. He's 6.4 off the back of Tardock at the moment, so interesting to see. The next car to be lapped will be that of Monkey Boy. In fact, no, it won't be for Dan Davis. It'll be the 75 and possibly the number 8. Yeah, indeed, the number 8. The 36, that's Jamal Clouden. Oh, he's had a big impact into the wall. Not sure what has happened at the halfway stage, but he's had a huge moment into the wall. He's returned to the pit lane. The 501 is also in the pits. That is Robert Ramsell. Did Ramsell get caught up with that as well? And in fact, I believe Clouden has just left the lobby there then. Joseph Bates now has lost out to Braga. So he's trying to fight that one back here. But we know what Joe can be like on tyres, like we say. As Braga's gone very, very wide. And that's going to allow Joe back through. Down to GT4s then. As I believe Bettison's now in the pits. Not sure why Bettison's in the pits. But John Goodale will pass him. Did John Goodale get past out of Robert Ramsell? I don't think so. So there's the battle for second place in GT4 because Matt Wright 17 seconds out in front. Cracking start to his night. I wonder if this is the Audi that he might choose for GT4. He looks a good challenge in it at the moment, does Matt Wright. So then, this is the battle for second place. Matt White there just got a little closer to the back of Colin. Now, as Car 75 of Betson's only just leaving the pits now, this will put these ahead of him on track. Matt White enjoys racing in the GT4s and in the BMW M2s on the ARL channel. Driving well at the moment, trying to get past Colin now. They are ahead of Bettison as well, back up the top end of the order. Braga still on the back of that of Joe Bates, who's about to put a lap on to Andrew Taylor here. And O'Reilly's within 0.3 of a second of Dan Davis. That's now opened up back to 0.6. We'll drop back to that GT4 fight of Colin and White down the back straight. They both come. What drive-through penalty that is for Nuke Waste. That is going to hurt him in this race, and that'll help people like Sam Greaves and Monkey Boy. Andrew Taylor. Matt White getting closer to the back of Colin here then. Oh, Bettison bouncing all over the curb in the background. And White just losing out momentarily. Where's Vieira? Down a straight, probably going to lose out a bit. Patrick Liger here. Trying to attack the back of Ben Rook, who we know is suffering with some engine wear. O'Reilly and Dan, they're putting a lap on Sam Greaves. So it's time to be doing the lapping order of the GT4s once again. 79 of Ian Best is back into the pits. You just saw Matt White there just bouncing over the curb a little bit. That would have unsettled him slightly. So he's got Bettison coming back past him. Here's Vieira then. And then that of Liger, who is now trying to attack Loesch. So it's 8 GT2s in the top 8 out of 10 of them. O'Reilly Slon is on Dan a little bit more. Well, it looks like he's not the 2/10 there. O'Reilly seems to be losing it all in that final sector. Braga's back on Joseph Bates here. As that is Nuke Waste in for his drive-through penalty, so out of these guys' way. There you see him in the pit lane. Clouden didn't take the wall. It was collision, erratic driving by the 53 Audi. The 53 Audi is that of DJ Phil. Oh, here comes Bates and Braga splitting that off the back marker there. Well, drivers are allowed to raise tickets even in fun events, so if Clouden is wanting to raise a ticket over the issue, he can and is well within his right to do so. As Braga now looking underneath that of Joe Bates through the long right-hander. And the side-by-side near enough coming onto the back straight now. So that then must have been what happened to Clouden. He's obviously had a collision with that of DJ Phil somewhere on the track. And this is the fun, and I say the fun, the tricky situation of multi-class racing, even though they're both GT3s. O'Reilly's right on the back of Dan. So O'Reilly's a lot quicker down the straight in this section here. O'Reilly losing it all. Back to Braga and Joe. What about Loesch and Ben here? Loesch looking up the inside of Ben through the long right-hander, getting very close. John Gooday watching and waiting in the wings, obviously not for position, but just waiting. Moves out the way of Liger now. Ben's going to have the inside line. And Ben manages to hold on there. O'Reilly drops off the back of Dan a little bit. Joseph Bates has got Braga coming up. Not close enough though yet is Braga. So Dan, 9 points off the back of Tardok then here. Tardok driving fantastically at the moment. Let's go back down to Matt White. He's pretty close to the back then of that of Colin. The only real fight here in the GT4s. Andrew Taylor did get ahead of Nuclear Waste in that pit stop due to that drive-through. Bettison has cleared these two to chase after Matt White. And then here comes that of, in fact, let's drop back down. In fact, we'll stay here a second. I just saw Joseph Bates and Braga going at it a little bit. They're still side by side. Joe Bates has got that one back. What about Colin and White then? Having a look up the inside. No, White thinks better of it. Patient game still. 22 minutes left in this race. So still anything can happen. Braga, though, still waiting on the back. Ben still ahead of Loesch with Patrick Liger right there. The only thing for John is by starting from pit lane and having them moments early on, he could have been in this fight, as O'Reilly's looking to the outside of Dan through the right-hand kink. Seems better in a straight line, does O'Reilly, over Dan. And just has to wait patiently once again. Drive-through penalty, car 79. Track limits, that is best down the bottom end of the pack. Loesch here was a little wide. What about Joe Bates? This is Braga looking right around the outside of Joe Bates. Now Braga to the outside once again. They've got a GT4 coming up, and Braga to the outside line. And Joe now, GT4 holding its line. Braga splitting them to the outside once again. This could be a heck of a move from Braga. This could on Joe Bates. Can he aim around there to have the inside line for the final corner? Who breaks late? Braga does, gets it stopped and turned in. Joe gets on the power. Braga struggles to get out the final corner. Braga's pitting. I don't know if Braga's fueled to the end, but Braga is into the pits. O'Reilly now on the back of Dan has got Mike Matthews with him once again. Ben Rook on the back of Loesch. Loesch has got past him. Liger's with him. Back down to Matt White once again, still on the rear of that of Colin. The 59 of Millington, yellow flag around him. As there is Tardok, the race leader, coming past. And Braga here then into the pits. Not sure what has happened. Matt White has Colin got a bit of a twitch on. O'Reilly's close to back of Dan with Mike Matthews right with them as well. 79 drive through cleared. They're all coming up on Gary Leach. So Gary's got to be cautious here with the three GT2s having an epic scrap. Oh, Dan's dropped it! Dan's around! And Mike Matthews and O'Reilly get through. Was that the dirty air of Gary Leach's GT4 that just unsettled Dan's car? I'm unsure. But Dan around. Matt right now trying to get top 20, but also second place. Not close enough at the moment. Mike Matthews 3/10 off the back of O'Reilly. Dan down in fourth, but to what damage? For his tyres more than anything as well. Joseph Bates is now coming into the pits. So Loesch will get through. Ben Rook will get through. I'm not sure what these drivers are doing here. That's two that's pitted in 2 laps. But Braga and Joe Bates now into the pit lane. And Mike Matthews as O'Reilly tries to put a lap on some of the GT4s. Matt White has to get right out of that. And now Colin. So that's kind of hurt Matt White there in that fight with Colin. Oh dear. Oh, I thought Mike and Colin was going to trip up each other a little bit there. I managed to not do. That has stopped this battle a little bit. Rook on the back of Loesch. P5 and 6 now after Joe Bates and Braga came into the pit lane. Where is Braga? Final part of the circuit, just off track again. Joe Bates not yet moving. I don't know. I mean, these two was having a scrap. Joe Bates moving now, and he's off the limiter. And there he is, Braga way behind in the background. Millington as well, just behind now. What a strange race that we're finding ourselves in at the moment. Drivers pitting. Dan Davis had that moment. We've lost Jamal Clouden. Mike now has that GT3 car of what I believe is Ramsell in between himself. No, it's Millington, sorry then. In between himself. It can't be Millington. Was it Ramsell? It was Ramsell, yeah. In between himself and O'Reilly. Ledger's gaining on the back of Ben Rook. Braga trying to gain on Millington. In fact, he's past Millington. Joseph Bates still out of front. Did Joe need a change of tyres, I wonder? Was that the problem? Collins got White right on the back of him now once again. But we'll stick with this of Patrick Ledger and that of Ben Rook. Down the back straight they come once again. Ledger just losing out now to Ben due to that straight line speed. We'll go back to Matt White and Colin. They've got Loesch just gaining on them, and White moves out of the way for Loesch. And Colin stays a little wider. Well, kind of gets pushed a little bit wide there. And that is going to help. That of White to have a look. And now they've got Ben Rook and that of Elijah just catching them once again. Ben around the outside of White. Elijah will take that inside line. Ben's going to look up the inside as Diz will stay wide for the two of them. Also got John Gooday there as well, and Matt White just up and over the curb. John Gooday to the outside line of him. And Diz will stay as close to pit wall as he can, and John Gooday goes through. So again, the problem for Matt White and Collins' battle here is they just having to keep moving out of the way for these blue flags. Ben and Dan have no tyres left. They're almost completely gone. So is that what happened to Dan Davis? Just a lack of tyres? They're obviously all in a Discord call with each other. So that's probably what the problem is for Ben. I wonder if that's what the problem was then for that of Fury and of that of Varga. Ben's engine management light is also on amber here then. So not able to do a lot at the moment. Back to Dan's is on yellow. So interesting to see these different things pan out here. Mike's lost out to O'Reilly 2.6 seconds. I just wonder if tyres started to go. Tardock here has been able to manage his tyres, an absolute peach. And 45 minutes in here. This is interesting. Obviously new territory with these GT2s. We're watching this fight though play out for second and third place at the moment in this GT4 category. Matt White trying to get the better of Diz, as we know him as. And Tardok, where's he on the circuit? He's come through sector 1, 10 seconds over O'Reilly. Mike Matthews now 2.3. Drive-through penalty for Loesch. So the man who was fighting with Ben Ruck a while back has now got a drive-through penalty. That's going to put him down the order. It's going to give Ben at least 5th place in the GT2 category. Don't forget, if you like what you see here, hit that thumbs up button, the bell to be notified, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We'll go to look at the Ben Ruck and Patrick Leger fight. Whoa, Ben getting out of shape. Patrick having a look at the inside. And Ben's gone deep. That's the lack of tyres that Ben's got, I assume. Through he goes, Vieira trying to gain on Steve Beck as well. So Ben losing out there. We go back to the Colin and White fight. Closest fight on the circuit at the moment. Apologies, we had to make a quick toilet pit stop there. Had to dart off to the toilet quickly. White still behind that of Colin then as they're coming under the lapped car of Loesch, who's done his drive-through penalty, as we know. So White still trying to get onto the back then of that of Diz. And Vieira on the back of Steve Beck here, as they try and come down the back straight once more. 9 minutes left in this race, so it's been a great start for everybody this afternoon. Been a great drive. We've only lost that of Jamal Clouden in the race, but what a race it's been for everybody at the moment. White back on Colin once again. He's got to now start to think of where the time is. Tordok has lost a couple of seconds recently to that of O'Reilly. Oh, jeez. Honestly, Chris, that'd be quite handy. Bettising trying to gain on DJ Phil. We'll keep our eyes on that fight developing as well. O'Reilly's gap's opened up a little bit. Let's go and check out the DJ Phil Bettison fight. In fact, they're pretty close now. Bettising gets the up and under on DJ Phil, who's had a moment in the wall, big time. DJ Phil, big moment there, and he's in the wall. And that could spell disaster for him, as Matt Wright, just I don't know if he's moving out the way GT2's there or not, but he could pass DJ Phil here. So this is going to be very interesting indeed. What a night it has been tonight, but Matt White here now needs to try and get past out of Colin. Gary Leach running in P4. Down the back straight they come. Matt White now just starts to have a look on the back of Colin a little bit, but they've got the lapped car here. All that of Steve Beck coming down the straight as well. Beck's not going to want to get involved in this battle for the GT2 podium, as here he comes. Is he going to, though? Yes, he does. Up the inside of the pair of them. They both give him the room that he needs. And Beck manages to stay out the way. There is Paolo in the background. And again, just as White tries to capitalise as there's a slow car, DJ Phil's into the pits. So Matt right now will pass DJ Phil for position, just as Matt White tries to get on the back of Colin for that position. Lapped cars are taking over and just kind of put a little disruption in this fight at the moment. So that was Vieira in P10. Rob Smith the next car to lap them. And White just getting closer to the back of Colin here. And DJ Phil, car 88, that's Hicks with a drive-through penalty for track limits. So Andrew Taylor and Sam Greaves, maybe even Nuke Waste, could gain an extra position there. As through goes Rob Smith. That's the problem again. Look, it's just unsettled that battle at a position where Matt White could have really not done with it. Although he could now. Corner opens up. Diz has to take a little wider line as Rob Smith comes through. Ben has got a red engine light. He could be about to be out of this race. He's got at least 2 or 3 laps left to go. I think Ben's just going to have to start short shifting quite a lot. As John Gooday now laps these two on the back straight. Matt White tries to come through. Colin will just get a little bit of slipstream off the back of John Gooday. And here comes White running out of time. Drive through cleared for Hicks. What has Matt White got to do in this race today? Dan now with his engine damage. I think Mike's also possibly got some engine damage here, because he's also dropped off the back of O'Reilly. Sounds like a spinner. The 105 has had a spin. That is Rob Smith. So he's got to lap these two all over again. Joseph Bates will be happy with that because he's gaining on them. Sod it if in doubt, flat out. I love that from Ben. What a guy. Closest fight on track, GT4s. Rob Smith now comes through to lap the pair of them. Through he goes. Matt White now, he'll want that podium. He's in for the podium. He'll want that second place. No doubt about that, he'll want it. They've got Joe Bates and Braga gaining on the pair of them at a part of the circuit where Joe's just got to be patient as Matt White goes a little wide to let Joe through. And that's going to, again, look, help that out of Colin, who won't have to put up with Joe until the straight. Matt White, though, trying to use a bit of slipstream here of that of Braga to try and gain that time back up. So all that gap has been lost here. Braga and Bates, the other closest fight on circuit. Let's go down to it a second. No can do from those two at the moment. Taylor's gaining on the back of Sam Greaves, who's got Matthew Hicks with him as well. As Ben Rook just comes under to lap them. Michael Harris got ahead of Ben now. So that could play dividends. Matt Wright side by side with V. Colin. And has Matt White finally done it here? They're still side by side together at the moment, and Colin comes back out on top. And White once again has to just wait. They're both the bridesmaids to Matt Wright today, but Matt Wright wants to be the maid of honour and get that second place. Leader is coming round the back part of the circuit. He could start the penultimate lap of this race in a moment, as here comes Matt White now. Through turns 1 and 2, but no can do there for the pair of them. Joseph Bates put a gap between himself and Braga. Dan Davis 10 seconds behind Mike. Mike's lost out. There's no real other battles bar Beck and Vieira, but that then opens up down the back straight. In fact, there is a fight actually. There's Rob Smith, there's Joe Bates, and now there's Braga as well. This will be for the last place in the GT2 category. What's going to happen down the back end of the straight? We can see Wright and that of White and Colin in the background, but Rob Smith watching on as Joe tries to come through the middle, and there was Braga who made sure the gap wasn't big enough, and Joe and Braga tap again, and Joseph Bates now tries to look to the outside of Rob Smith, can't do it there, now looks to the inside line as Braga gets past the pair of them, and what a move from Braga as Rob Smith drops the rear, and White's got ahead of Colin down the back straight. White has got ahead of Colin into that second place position. Right at the death in this race. Matt White has finally done it, but Braga there. 2 in 1, beautifully done. And this man, Tardok, we've not seen him since the start really. He hasn't had to look back. There is a spinner. I believe that could be a back marker in the category, the 79. But here comes Tardok. Will this be the final lap of the race? It is going to be the final lap of the race, because he's going to slow to the line. He's got the gap to do so, and he crosses the line. No, he starts the final lap. I think he's missed it by a brief amount. So he's missed it by a brief amount and has lost a lot of time in the process. Back down to White and Colin. White just put a bit of a daylight between them now. Joseph Bates ahead of Braga. I think Tardok there wanted to end the race and just misjudged it by a split second. So Tardok will have it all to do yet again. Vieira trying to gain on the back of Sam Beck. Dan's had another moment. Dan Davies shall a flag around his name. Could lose 4th place to Patrick Elijah here, the leader in GT2s. But Vieira then looking towards the back end of the circuit. Bit racy over that of Steve Beck. As Nuke Waste lets them through to lap him. Vieira gets a good run out the corner there and has to wait, because Beck will have that straight line speed in his GT2. Right then, to the race leader of Tardok. Matt Wright will start the final lap of GT4 action. Car 4 yellow flag. That is Andrew Taylor, we know, down the bottom end of the circuit. And Colin, you can just see the gap now between Colin and Matt White. And I don't think Tardok is going to put a lap on these two. Might let them fight for one more. O'Reilly got close to back of Tardok in the end. Is Tardok going to lap them? If he laps him here, it'll definitely be the way of Matt White to take second place. Tardok to the line. He'll be your race winner. He does put the lap on Colin at the end. O'Reilly P3. Mike Matthews will come home for a podium. O'Reilly P2. Mike Matthews P3. Dan Davis struggling for tyres. Chris in the chat was saying earlier, trying to hang in there over Ledger in the GT3 car. Rounds the final corner. Dan Davis, P4 in the GT2 class. Patrick Elijah, race winner once again, been in the GT3 class. It won't count for the statistics. But there goes Michael Harris, P6 overall, P2 in GT3s. Millington's finished, Ramsell's finished, Betson finished, Colin, Leach, Amir finished, Colin P3, best finishers, Ben finishes as well. Paolo, by the way, podium in the GT3 class at the moment, as here comes Loesch to finish P8 overall. Steve Beck going to come home for P9. So Colin, third place in GT3s. Matt White has returned to the pit lane and not yet finished the race. I'm not quite sure what has happened there, as Matt White ran out of fuel. Beck from Vieira, third place overall. Joseph Bates still having a good scrap here with Braga. So we'll have to see about the final positions at the end. And Joe Bates manages to hang on in there over Braga. Matt Wright will be your GT4 overall winner. What a race from him. And we just await Rob Smith, the last driver to the line in this race. And he crosses the line now in what has been a fantastic evening of racing here at Simplay Motorsport. A cracking night as a few of the drivers take to doing donuts on the track. I don't think Ben's engine could hack it, but it's obviously going a little longer than we thought. We'll wait for either engine or tyres to pop. But what a night it has been here in the GT4. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and the bell to be notified when we go live in the future, as well as subscribe to the channel if you are new. 2 weeks from today, sign-ups will be going out tonight into next week as well for the SimGrid. Tonight, if you're in the Discord, for the next fun event, which will be on the 22nd, and then the GT4, GT3 Pro Am and GT3 Pro Series. If you are in the Discord, make sure you've done your hot stints. If you're on the SimGrid, obviously join the Discord and get your hot stints done to be told what category you are in, GT3 Pro or Pro Am wise. But from all of us here at Simplay Motorsport, thank you all for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Good night. Clarence put a ticket in on Ben. Listen, you salty bastard! Fuck knows. I'll have a look now. I'm in stream.